Hi everybody, welcome to day 1 of week 2 of our unit. Before we start day 1, let's go over the flow for today's work. So first we will have an opening and do now activity. Then there'll be a before reading activity where you will make predictions about what will happen in the story. Then there will be the into the text moment. Teachers, note that you're going to have here a link both to an audio recording reading the text out loud and a link to the text itself in a PDF format. After you read the text together, there will be an after the reading activity where students will think about the setting and the places of the story and how they affect or impact how the main character is feeling. Finally, you're going to have your closing and connecting activity, and teachers, today is a day where you can choose whichever activity is going to work best for you and for your students. And don't forget, as always, you have your notes for teachers below with some extra tips and suggestions for how to implement today's lesson, including here a link to your teacher's guide. So let's go ahead and get started. So again, we are on day 1 of week 2 of our unit Growing Stronger, and our essential question for the week will be, how can our emotions impact our progress? How can our emotions impact our progress? Emotions being how we are feeling, and progress meaning how we are changing. The name of the text that we're going to be reading together this week is Sweet, Difficult Sounds. At this point, can somebody please read our lesson objectives out loud? And teachers, you can pause this video and give students a few minutes to read them out loud. Okay, thank you for that. We have 2 lesson objectives today. The first one is to make logical inferences from the close reading of a text. So after we read the story together, we're going to think about what the text means to us, what the story means. Then our second lesson objective is to explore how words or phrases are used in a text to shape the meaning or tone. So we're going to think about how certain words or phrases in the story change or affect the meaning of the story. So moving on to our opening and do now activity, we're doing another See, Think, Wonder exercise with this image here. And let's go ahead and do an example together. So as usual in your See, Think, and Wonder, you can use these sentence starters in the green box. In the image I see, I think that, one thing I wonder is, and I'll do an example with you before you do this independently. So looking again at this image here, if I were to complete my See, Think, and Wonder statements, I would say, in the image I see children sitting together. So I'm looking at this group of kids and they're all sitting together on the floor. And I think that they know each other. I think that they are familiar with each other and they might be friends, or at least they know each other from before. One thing I wonder is why they are sitting. So I do wonder why they are sitting on the floor and not moving around like some of the other kids in this image. So at this point, you should do your own See, Think, and Wonder statements. Teachers, you can pause this video and give students some time to write these down and discuss them in the chat or out loud if you'd like. Students, remember, if you get stuck with how to begin your statements, you can use the green box here. So we'll come pause this video, and when you pick it back up, we will go on to the next part of our lesson. Okay, thank you. I hope you enjoyed doing your opening do now and got to hear each other's ideas. Let's move forward to our before reading activity. So in our before reading activity, like we said, we're doing some predictions about what the story is going to be about. And here are the steps we're going to take. First, we're going to read this part of the text, which is the first paragraph of the story. Then afterwards, we're going to make predictions about what might happen in the story. And then finally, we are going to discuss our predictions together. So we are going to share these out loud. Teachers, you could have students do this in a large group or in partnerships or groups of 3 or 4 if you prefer that format. So teachers, I'm also going to show at this point a tool that you might consider using throughout One thing I created that you could use something similar is a document that kind of tracks for each day the different activities that the students are doing, and that way they have everything again in one place. They don't have to go and find multiple documents and look for their work from previous sessions. They have everything in one document, and it's very easy to find and to reference back. So for example, here on day 1, what I've done is copy and paste pretty much the steps from the before reading activity, which we'll do together right now. And then I also copied and pasted from the after reading. Again, that's just from the slide deck here, and did some formatting to make it very clear on the Google Doc. So teachers, again, this is just a format that you could use as we go through the next few videos. We'll have days 2, 3, and 4 all added to this one document. So let's actually go ahead and do the before reading activity together. So we'll look at the slide, and then I will use the document to write. So we are first going to read the paragraph, the first paragraph of the story. So I'll read it out loud 2 times. So students, you get multiple times to listen. It was the first day of school, and students swarmed the hallways like a roaming mass of book bags. Nothukula wasn't sure what to do, so she watched her new schoolmates as they slammed lockers shut, hugged each other, and handed out high fives. That was our first reading, and I'll read it one more time. And remember, as you're reading and listening, you're thinking, what do you think is going to happen in this story? It was the first day of school, and students swarmed the hallways like a roaming mass of book bags. Nothukula wasn't sure what to do, so she watched her new schoolmates as they slammed lockers shut, hugged each other, and handed out high fives. So we've had a chance to hear the first paragraph 2 times. Now we're going to make predictions about what might happen, and we're going to use the phrase, I predict that. And we're going to finish that statement to make our predictions. So if I go to my document where I'm keeping my before reading work, I have it here in this box. And again, I have that sentence starter from before. I predict that. I also added another one in case I wanted to add on. Nothukula, that's our main character. Her name is Nothukula. Nothukula will. So I might make some predictions right now. So I predict that Nothukula will meet new students today at her new school. So that's the first part of my prediction. I'll make it bold, that she will meet new students today at her school. And I'm going to add on a little bit below. Nothukula will feel confused on her first day. So again, making my predictions about what's going to happen in this first part of the story. So students, at this point, you're going to make your own predictions based on the first paragraph of our story. We'll put this slide up again. And teachers, you can have students do this however you'd like, if you'd like to have them do it in a document or to do it in the chat. So let's pause and give some time for you to make those predictions. Okay, thank you for writing out your predictions. At this point, you are going to share with each other. Again, teachers, you can have students do this in the large group, partnerships, or small groups. But students should be writing into the chat, or they can say out loud the predictions that they ended up writing. So we'll pause this video, and students, you will share your predictions with each other. Okay, thank you for discussing your predictions. We are done with the before reading portion. Before we go on, let's briefly go over the purpose before we go into the text. Today we will begin reading a short story about Nothukula, a student from Zimbabwe who is new in school. We will analyze the text to make inferences about the setting and how it affects the characters. We also have 2 focus vocabulary here. The first word is invisible. The second word is practice. So if I click through, these will open up to a definition. So the first word is invisible. We have our definition down here below. Impossible or nearly impossible to see. So that's invisible, impossible, or nearly impossible to see. For the word practice, our definition here, practice is a customary way of operation or behavior. So something that people think of as being normal or repeated is a practice. Okay, teachers, at this moment, you can end this video and go into the text with students. Again, you're going to have links to a recording and also the text itself. Please don't forget your guiding questions and also your discussion questions here. Then you'll do your after the reading activity and finally end with your closing and connecting. And we will see you for day 2.